Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Do you think we'll ever get to find out what's happened to Prince and Michael Jackson before the very end? I mean, we could speculate, can't we? Here's my theory on this. I think they wanted out. I think at one time they were bona fide Illuminati paid up members, both Michael Jackson and Prince. 100% they were paid up Illuminati members because they couldn't have been put in on a pedestal. They couldn't have been given all that recognition in show business if they weren't. But I think they wanted out. And I think that they made inroads to try and get out, even to sort of buy their way out. And it's just not possible because they bargained with the wrong person. You know, there is no get out clause. You're in for life and you're in for death. And I think that those that don't understand what it is really like to make a bargain for the rest of your life with a non-human who doesn't care for you. It's all for himself at the end of the day. It's just that it looks good when he finally gives an answer back to God just before he's abyssing. It looks good if he can say just how many humans in the last days were willing, not forced to, but willing to worship him. And so what this will do is this will anger God because it will be true. There will be billions that have willingly chosen to worship Satan and turn their back on the Most High. So he will be probably angry at this. But the inevitable conclusion is that Satan still will be abyssed, but he will still have the chance to taunt God before he's chained for that 1,000 years. He'll be given that chance to taunt God. And it will be undeniable because you only have to look around right now and you see who is it that's at the top of all political power? Who's at the top of Hollywood? Who's at the top of every powerful company? They will all be paid up members of the secret religion. Now, I knew that Prince was in deep anguish because he was studying to be a JW, and Michael Jackson was at one time as well. And maybe they thought that they needed something different to what they had. And maybe that's why they chose that religion. But you can't get out, can you? And they don't realize this, do they? And so when it looks as if they're so happy in their new role as subjects of the Dark Lord, it's only a temporary happiness. That's all it is. But to us, it looks as if they're having the time of their life. They're prospering and they have untold riches. But remember this fact, and this is an important fact. Jesus had enough wisdom to resist every temptation that Satan threw at him when he was at his lowest ebb, when he hadn't eaten and he'd been fasting, hadn't he? So he was quite weak. And then Satan hits him with the temptations. Now, Jesus, even though he was weak from fasting, he was still able to see that that was God's enemy. And we need to see that ourselves. We need to see that if we're offered something that we might think was unattainable under normal circumstances, but all of a sudden it's been made available to us, would we have enough about us to say no to it, knowing that ultimately we're never going to bring happiness? And it wouldn't have brought Jesus any happiness either, would it? Because all Satan would have done, if Jesus would have caved in to those temptations, all Satan would have done is turn around to God and say, see, even your own son prefers to worship me than you. He was given a choice and he chose what I put before him. And can you see why it was such a marvelous thing that he said no and gave a demonstration as to who it is that you should put your trust in? You should not put God to the test. And then gave Satan a lesson in why the Heavenly Father, the creator of all life, is the only one that deserves exclusive devotion and no other. And this is what Satan hates more than anything. That humans, some of them, not all of them, but some of them, can muster up enough courage to turn their back on him and turn their back on what he promises them in this system, or what remains of it. But as for Prince and Michael Jackson, it seems as if they were probably taught a lesson, and that is, you can't ask for our help, and you can't ask for the help of the chief commander to be given fame and fortune, and then now it doesn't suit you, ask for the exit door, because it doesn't work like that. It's a shame that he didn't get the chance to write an album about how he was feeling, how he was trapped, and go into more detail. But he was a very spiritual soul, was Prince. He often thought about things that normal people don't think about. So they didn't like him for that. You know, he was a threat to their perverted lifestyles. You know, he was never going to be like the rest of them. Not when he suddenly woke up. And I think that both Michael Jackson and Prince, towards the end, they did wake up and saw just how evil the world in which they once adored really was. So yeah.